What if the biggest threat from AI isn't that it will take your job, but that it will expose the way you've been thinking about yourself? Right now, millions of people are afraid of being replaced by technology. They're worried about automation, uncertainty, and a future that seems to change every day. But the people who will thrive in this new era aren't necessarily the smartest, the richest, or the most technical. They're the ones who make one powerful identity shift, a shift that transforms fear into opportunity and disruption into growth. Today, you'll discover the simple mindset change that can make you unstoppable in the age of AI. For decades, people have been taught to introduce themselves with a job title. I'm a teacher. I'm an accountant. I'm a manager. I'm a designer. We build our identities around the work we do and the positions we hold. While there is nothing wrong with being proud of your profession, there is a danger in attaching your entire sense of worth to a sense of self. Specific role. In the age of AI, roles can change, industries can transform, and tasks that once required years of training can suddenly be automated. If your identity is tied only to what you do, every technological advancement can feel like a threat. But if your identity is rooted in what you create, every advancement becomes an opportunity. The people who thrive in times of change are not those who cling to old definitions of themselves. They are the ones who understand that their greatest value does not come from a title, a degree, or a position. It comes from their ability to create solutions, ideas, connections, and results. A creator mindset changes everything. Instead of asking, "What happens if my job changes?" you begin asking, "What can I build next?" That question alone shifts your focus from fear to possibility. Think about the most successful people in any field. They are rarely remembered for their job descriptions. They are remembered for what they created. They create businesses, movements, innovations, works of art, systems, opportunities, and transformations. Their power came from their ability to produce value, not from the label attached to their role. That same potential exists within every person. You do not need to be a CEO, an inventor, or a technology expert to become a creator. You simply need to adopt the belief that you can contribute something meaningful to the world. When you see yourself as a creator, obstacles begin to look different. Challenges become invitations to innovate. Problems become opportunities to think differently. Uncertainty becomes a space where new possibilities can emerge. Instead of waiting for instructions, you begin taking initiative. Instead of worrying about being replaced, you focus on becoming more resourceful. This mindset gives you a sense of control in a world that often feels unpredictable. AI can generate content, analyze data, and automate repetitive tasks, but it cannot replace the uniquely human ability to imagine a better future and bring it to life. It cannot replicate your life experiences, your perspective, your passion, or your purpose. Technology can assist creation, but it cannot replace the human spirit that drives it. The individuals who will thrive are those who learn to use AI as a tool while continuing to develop their creativity, judgment, and vision. Every day you have a choice. You can define yourself by a position that may change, or you can define yourself by your ability to create value wherever you go. One identity is fragile because it depends on circumstances. The other is powerful because it travels with you no matter what happens. The moment you stop seeing yourself as merely a worker and start seeing yourself as a creator, you unlock a level of confidence, resilience, and opportunity that no technology can ever take away. That identity shift is not just a strategy for surviving the future, it is the key to leading it. There was a time when success was largely determined by how much information you could accumulate. People spent years earning degrees, mastering specific skills, and building careers based on expertise that could remain valuable for decades. The world moved at a slower pace, and knowledge had a longer shelf life. But today, we are living in a completely different reality. Technology evolves rapidly, industries transform overnight, and artificial intelligence is accelerating the pace of change in ways few could have imagined. In this environment, the greatest advantage is no longer what you know. It is how quickly and effectively you can learn. Many people unknowingly trap themselves with an identity built around being knowledgeable. They take pride in having the right answers, being the expert in the room, or relying on skills they mastered years ago. While expertise is valuable, it can also become a limitation if it leads to complacency. The moment someone believes they have learned enough is often the moment they beg. in falling behind. The future belongs to those who remain students regardless of how successful they become. When you shift your identity from, I need to know everything, to I am committed to learning anything, something powerful happens. Fear begins to lose its grip. Instead of feeling threatened by change, you become energized by it. Instead of worrying about whether your current skills will remain relevant, you trust in your ability to acquire new ones. Confidence no longer comes from possessing all the answers. It comes from believing in your capacity to find them. Think about the most adaptable people you know. They are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are often the most curious. They ask questions, seek feedback, explore new ideas, and embrace challenges as opportunities to grow. They understand that every change in the marketplace, every new technology, and every disruption carries lessons that can help them become better. Their mindset allows them to evolve while others resist. Artificial intelligence is a perfect example of why this shift matters. Many people are intimidated by AI because they see it as a complex technology that requires expertise they don't possess. They focus on what they don't know, and that creates hesitation. But the people who are thriving with AI are not necessarily technology geniuses. They are learners. They are willing to experiment, make mistakes, watch tutorials, read articles, test tools, and continuously improve. Their success comes not from existing knowledge, but from their willingness to acquire new knowledge. Learning is no longer something you do for a few years in school and then leave behind. It has become a lifelong responsibility. The individuals who will lead in the age of AI, the fuzz, are those who approach every day with curiosity. They understand that growth is not an event, it is a habit. They actively seek new perspectives, challenge their assumptions, and remain open to evolving their thinking. The most dangerous phrase in a rapidly changing world is, I've always done it this way. Those words signal a closed mind and a fixed identity. In contrast, the most powerful phrase is, what can I learn from this? That question keeps you flexible, resilient, and prepared for whatever comes next. It transforms setbacks into lessons and uncertainty into opportunity. The truth is that nobody can predict exactly what the future will look like. New technologies will emerge, industries will shift, and opportunities we cannot yet imagine will appear. But you do not need to know everything about the future to succeed in it. You only need to become the kind of person who is willing to learn continuously. When learning becomes part of your identity, change stops being something you fear. It becomes something you are ready for. And in the age of AI, that may be the most valuable skill of all. One of the biggest mistakes people make when thinking about artificial intelligence is assuming that it is here to compete with them. They see headlines about automation, job displacement, and machines performing tasks that once required human effort, and they immediately move into a defensive mindset. They begin asking questions like, how do I protect myself, or how do I avoid being replaced? While these concerns are understandable, they often lead people to focus on fear rather than opportunity. The individuals who thrive in the age of a first make a different choice. They stop viewing a first I as a competitor and start viewing it as a collaborator. Throughout history, every major technological breakthrough has created anxiety. When computers entered workplaces, many feared that jobs would disappear. When the internet emerged, people worried it would disrupt entire industries. When smartphones became common, some questioned whether they would negatively transform society. Yet those who learned to work with these technologies often gained enormous advantages. The same principle applies to artificial intelligence. The greatest opportunities will not belong to those who resist AI. They will belong to those who learn how to partner with it effectively. Think about what collaboration really means. A great collaboration allows each side to contribute its strengths. AI is incredibly powerful at processing information, analyzing patterns, generating ideas, and handling repetitive tasks at remarkable speed. Humans, on the other hand, bring creativity, emotional intelligence, ethical judgment, intuition, vision, and purpose. AI can provide options, but people decide which options matter. AI can generate content, but humans give it meaning. AI can assist with execution, but people provide direction. When these strengths are combined, the results can be extraordinary. Imagine a writer who uses AI to brainstorm ideas, organize research, and improve productivity. The AI helps accelerate the process, but the writer's voice, experiences, and creativity remain at the center of the work. Imagine an entrepreneur who uses AI to analyze market trends and identify opportunities. The technology provides insights, but the entrepreneur still makes strategic decisions and takes action. Imagine a teacher who uses AI to create customized learning materials while focusing more attention on inspiring and mentoring students. In each case, AI is not replacing the person. It is amplifying their abilities. This shift in perspective changes how you approach your future. Instead of spending energy trying to prove that you can do everything without technological assistance, you begin asking smarter questions. How can this tool help me work more efficiently? How can it free up time for higher value activities? How can it strengthen my creativity, productivity, and impact? These questions open doors that fear can never unlock. The reality is that people who know how to use AI effectively will often outperform those who refuse to use it at all. This is not because AI is inherently superior to human intelligence. It is because collaboration creates leverage. A person who combines human insight with technological capability can accomplish more than either could achieve independently. In many ways, AI is becoming a force multiplier for human potential. The future is not a contest between humans and machines. It is a partnership between human creativity and technological capability. The people who flourish will be those who recognize this early and embrace it wholeheartedly. They will learn, adapt, experiment, and discover new ways to create value. Rather than fearing what AI might take away, they will focus on what it can help them build. When you stop asking, "How do I compete with AI?" and start asking, "How do I collaborate with AI?" you undergo a powerful identity shift. You move from resistance to possibility, from anxiety to confidence, and from survival mode to growth mode. In the age of AI, that shift may be one of the most important decisions you ever make. Key. For a long time, many careers were built around performing specific tasks. People were hired because they could complete a process, follow a procedure, manage a routine, or execute a set of responsibilities consistently. Those skills were valuable, and in many cases, they still are. However, the age of AI is changing the rules. Tasks that once required hours of human effort can now be completed in minutes. Processes that demanded specialized knowledge can often be automated. This reality can feel threatening if your identity is tied solely to the tasks you perform, but it becomes empowering when you shift your identity towards something much more valuable, becoming a problem solver. The truth is that tasks and problems are not the same thing. A task is an action. A problem is a challenge that requires understanding, judgment, creativity, and decision-making. AI can perform many tasks with incredible speed and accuracy, but solving meaningful human problems often requires much more than that. Processing information. It requires context, empathy, critical thinking, and the ability to navigate uncertainty. These are qualities that remain deeply human and incredibly valuable. Think about the people who create the greatest impact in any organization or industry. They are rarely praised simply for completing tasks. They are recognized because they solve problems. They find ways to improve systems, overcome obstacles, identify opportunities, and create better outcomes for others. Their value comes not from checking boxes, but from making things better. As technology continues to automate routine work, this ability will become even more important. A problem-solving mindset begins with curiosity. Instead of focusing only on what needs to be done, you start asking why things are done that way. You look beneath the surface. You search for inefficiencies, unmet needs, and hidden opportunities. You become someone who sees possibilities where others see limitations. This shift transfer forms the way you approach work, relationships, and personal growth. Consider a customer service professional. If their identity is based solely on answering questions, they may worry that AI chatbots will replace them. But if they see themselves as someone who solves customer problems, their role becomes much larger. They can focus on understanding emotions, handling complex situations, building trust, and creating positive experiences that technology alone cannot replicate. The task may change, but the value they provide remains essential. The same principle applies in every field. A marketer who solves business growth challenges is more valuable than someone who simply runs advertisements. A teacher who solves learning obstacles is more valuable than someone who only delivers information. An entrepreneur who solves customer problems is more valuable than someone who simply sells products. The future rewards those who focus on outcomes rather than activities. Problem solvers are also more adaptable because they are not dependent on a single skill or process. When circumstances change, they adjust. When technology evolves, they learn how to use it. When obstacles appear, they search for solutions rather than excuses. Their confidence comes from their ability to think, learn, and respond, not from relying on a fixed set of tasks. This adaptability makes them resilient in a world that is constantly changing. One of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself is, what problem do I help solve? That question forces you to think beyond your job title and focus on your true contribution. It shifts your attention away from routine activities and toward meaningful impact. The answer may reveal strengths and opportunities you never noticed before. The age of Afan will continue to transform how work gets done, but it will not eliminate the need for people who can identify challenges, make sound decisions, and create solutions. In fact, those abilities will become everywhere and more valuable. The people who thrive will not be those who cling to routine tasks. They will be those who embrace the role of problem solver. When your identity is built around solving problems rather than performing tasks, you become far more adaptable, far more valuable, and far more prepared for whatever the future brings. Perhaps the most important identity shift you can make in the age of AI is moving from seeing yourself as a passenger in life to seeing yourself as the architect of your future. Many people look at the rapid pace of technological change and feel powerless. They watch industries evolve, jobs transform, and new tools emerge, and they convince themselves that the future is something happening to them. As a result, they spend their time worrying, complaining, or waiting for certainty before taking action. But the people who thrive in uncertain times understand a powerful truth. While they cannot control every change around them, they can control how they respond to those changes. Being the architect of your future starts with taking ownership. Ownership means refusing to place responsibility for your life in the hands of circumstances, trends, governments, employers, or technology. It means recognizing that while external events may influence your journey, they do not determine your destiny. The moment you accept responsibility for your growth, your skills, your mindset, and your decisions, you begin reclaiming your power. Many people wait for the perfect moment to act. They tell themselves they will learn new skills when things settle down. They will start that business when they have more confidence. They will pursue their goals when they feel completely ready. The problem is that certainty rarely arrives. The world keeps moving, opportunities keep passing, and those who wait often find themselves further behind. Architects do not wait for perfect conditions. They begin building with the resources they have available. They understand that Progress creates clarity far more effectively than hesitation ever will. Think about the construction of a great building. It does not appear overnight. It begins with a vision, then comes a blueprint, then comes one brick, one beam, and one decision at a time. The same is true for your future. Success in the age of AI will not come from a single breakthrough moment. It will come from consistent actions taken over time. Every new skill you learn, every challenge you face, every adaptation you make becomes another brick in the foundation of your future success. This mindset also changes how you view obstacles. When people see themselves as victims of change, obstacles feel like proof that success is impossible. Every setback becomes a reason to quit. Every difficulty becomes evidence that the world is working against them. But architects see obstacles differently. They view challenges as problems to solve, lessons to learn, and opportunities to grow stronger. They understand that every meaningful achievement requires persistence through uncertainty. Artificial intelligence will continue to reshape industries and redefine careers. Some jobs will disappear, new ones will emerge, and entire ways of working will evolve. These realities are unavoidable, but there is a significant difference between fearing these changes and preparing for them. Those who prepare focus on developing skills that remain valuable regardless of technological shifts. They cultivate creativity, adaptability, leadership, communication, emotional intelligence, and lifelong learning. They invest in qualities that technology can enhance but not replace. The most successful people of the future will not necessarily be those with the highest IQs, the most resources, or the most advanced technical expertise. They will be those who take responsibility for designing their own path. They will be individuals who refuse to surrender their future to fear. Instead of asking, "What if things go wrong?" They ask, "What can I do today to move forward?" That question keeps them focused on action rather than anxiety. At the end of the day, AI is simply a tool. It is powerful, transformative, and capable of changing the world, but it does not decide who you become. You make that decision. Every day you choose whether to react to change or shape it. You choose whether to wait for the future or build it. And when you fully embrace the identity of an architect rather than a spectator, you discover something extraordinary. The future is not something you inherit, it is something you create.